2 full years. Click, call, or visit a store today.
Tonight, the police officer assassinated. The veteran New York City officer and mother shot through the window. Her partner's desperate cries for backup. And tonight here, the new video, the chilling online rant from the suspect. Also late today, the Trump administration with a new warning to North Korea tonight about possible military action after North Korea launches its first intercontinental ballistic missile that could reach U.S. targets. Also, President Trump arriving overseas a short time ago. That meeting now looming with Vladimir Putin. The American congressman and his selfie videos inside the Auschwitz death camp, causing a global uproar tonight. The tug of war over baby Charlie on life support. His parents want him moved. The hospital says no. Tonight, Pope Francis is now involved. And the missing student here in America, the young man under arrest, what he allegedly searched for online, and the vigil for that girl he attended.
This is ABC World News Tonight with David Muir.
Good evening, and it's great to be back with you. I hope you had a wonderful and safe 4th of July. And we do begin tonight with the deadly shooting involving that veteran New York City police officer, a mother of 3, sending shockwaves through the nation's largest police force. The New York City officer was ambushed in a police vehicle. The police commissioner tonight calling it an assassination. She was sitting in a police mobile command unit, the gunman shooting her through the passenger window. And tonight, investigators now revealing what the gunman posted, a chilling video online. And ABC's Adrian Bankert leading us off.
Tonight, police assassination. A department grieves the loss of Officer Miosotis Familia, the 12-year veteran murdered overnight.
It is clear this was an unprovoked attack on police officers who are assigned to keep the people of this great city safe.
Around 12:30 a.m., Familia and her partner were inside a mobile crime unit placed in this Bronx neighborhood to monitor gang activity. Moments later, police say 34-year-old Alexander Bonds walks up, firing through the window at point-blank range, hitting Familia in the head. Her partner screaming on police radio for help. Responding officers kill Bonds in a shootout a block away. One bystander's wounded. Familia, a single mother of 3, had worked as a nurse and for the Red Cross.
The emotions are very high inside. I mean, everyone is very sad. Nobody's speaking.
I'm not playing Mr. Officer.
Bonds recently went off in a vulgar anti-police rant on Facebook Live.
And somebody got to take one for the team.
His rap sheet includes assault on an officer with brass knuckles in 2001.
Tonight here, an entire city is now in shock.
The tragedy just days from the anniversary of the sniper killing of 5 police officers in Dallas. The deadliest single day for law enforcement since 9/11. And just 10 days later, 3 officers shot to death after being hunted by a lone gunman in Baton Rouge. In 2016, fatal shootings of police were up 41%, and nearly 1 in 3 of those were execution-style attacks.
And Adrian Bankert with us live tonight. Adrian, Officer Familia is now the 24th officer in the U.S. to be killed in the line of duty this year.
That is correct, David. Also, the 4th to be murdered, as the commissioner said, for the sake of their uniform. If you look behind us here, the memorial is growing at the 46th precinct. Those who knew her say that they're honoring her because she died, but also for how she lived. David?
Thinking about the force and her family tonight. Adrian Bankert, thank you. There are also breaking developments overseas tonight. President Trump arriving a short time ago, and it comes amid the intensifying showdown with North Korea. The White House tonight with a new warning. President Trump arriving in Poland now, the big meeting with Vladimir Putin coming. But much of the focus right now, North Korea, successfully testing its first intercontinental ballistic missile capable of hitting the U.S. And what the Pentagon acknowledged late today about that North Korean missile. Here's ABC's Chief Global Affairs correspondent, Martha Raddatz, tonight.
The missile launched by North Korea is more powerful and more sophisticated than anything that country has ever tested before. A 2-stage intercontinental ballistic missile blasted straight up into space, some 1,700 miles high. But here is what is so alarming. If the North Koreans angle the missile's trajectory for distance instead of altitude, experts say it could travel well over 4,000 miles, meaning it could potentially hit Alaska or even come close to Seattle. Kim Jong-un gleefully calling it a package of gifts on Independence Day. In response to the North Koreans, the U.S. and South Korea launched short-range missiles off the coast of the Korean peninsula. There is still time for diplomacy, but the U.S. ambassador to the UN said today is a dark day.
Time is short. Action is required. The world is on notice.
And so let's get to Martha Raddatz in our Washington bureau tonight. And Martha, as you reported there, the Pentagon said today that the missile the North Koreans launched is something the U.S. has never seen before.
Right, David. This is exactly the kind of missile the U.S. knew the North Koreans were working on, but we never expected it to be launched this soon. Experts say it is years ahead of schedule, David.
Martha Raddatz, thank you. Years sooner, as you heard Martha report there, than what the U.S. thought. So let's get right to ABC's military analyst, retired Marine Colonel Stephen Ganyard. And Steve, you saw what Martha reported there, that if that missile had gone the same distance but along a different trajectory, it could have made it to the U.S. Obviously, this is very concerning. So what does North Korea really have to do now to complete its nuclear missile plan?
David, yesterday the North Koreans demonstrated that they have a rocket that can reach the United States. But take a look at this image. This is what's disturbing. This is what we believe is a miniaturized nuclear warhead. We don't know yet whether the North Koreans can put the warhead with the rocket and have it survive the heat of reentry. It's the last piece of the puzzle, and we know they're working hard to get it.
The last piece of the puzzle. Steve Ganyard with us tonight as well. Steve, thank you. This showdown happening at the same time President Trump prepares for that high-stakes meeting with Russian President Vladimir Putin. The president's one-on-one with Putin for the first time since taking office. Russia saying Putin will bring a full agenda to the table. What is not known tonight is if either leader will bring up Russian meddling. And have they met before? ABC's Cecilia Vega traveling with the president in Warsaw.
President Trump landed in Poland tonight to a red carpet welcome, as all eyes look ahead to Friday's meeting with Russia's Vladimir Putin. The White House is now trying to downplay the face-to-face, calling it just a normal bilateral meeting between foreign leaders at the G20 summit. But the Kremlin calls it a full-fledged sit-down and has publicly outlined an agenda. As for whether this is their first meeting, President Trump has told conflicting stories.
He's a tough guy. I met him once.
I have no relationship with Putin. I don't think I've ever met him. I never met him. I don't think I've ever met him.
One thing he has been consistent on, singing Putin's praises.
If he says great things about me, I'm going to say great things about him. He's been a leader far more than our president has been a leader.
17 U.S. intelligence agencies agree Russia interfered in the election. As for the president,
he believes that Russia probably was involved, potentially some other countries as well could have been equally involved, or could have been involved, not equally.
In the Oval Office, President Trump bragged to Russian officials about firing FBI Director James Comey, who was leading the Russia investigation. And sources now tell ABC News it is unlikely the president will confront Putin about the election meddling. One senior administration official says the whole thing could be a waste of time and, quote, a loser of a topic.
And Cecilia Vega joins us now from Warsaw. Cecilia, we know the president is preparing to deliver a major speech tomorrow. The people there in Warsaw and really around the world will be watching to see if he mentions Russia.
Exactly, and the White House is calling this a major speech on U.S. relations, not just with Poland, but with all of Europe, David. And as you said, people here, especially in this country, waiting to see whether President Trump mentions Vladimir Putin by name and specifically Russian aggression right here in this region, David.
Cecilia Vega with us from Poland tonight. Cecilia, thank you as always. And next tonight here, the American congressman generating global outrage tonight while visiting the site of one of history's greatest atrocities, the Auschwitz Nazi death camp, and what he recorded, the selfie videos he took while inside. Here's ABC's Lindsay Davis tonight.
This is the video shot on the grounds of Auschwitz that has Congressman Clay Higgins under fire tonight.
He said they would squeeze 700 people in here.
The Louisiana Republican recording himself inside a gas chamber, posting the 5-minute video online.
The guards would drop Zyklone 5 cyanide gas through hatches. After about 20 minutes, everyone was dead.
The congressman then stands in the crematorium.
There were 3 sets of ovens like that. This is why Homeland Security must be squared away, why our military must be invincible.
The response from the Auschwitz Memorial, blunt. Inside a former gas chamber, there should be mournful silence. It's not a stage. Late today, Congressman Higgins took the video down and offered an apology, saying that his intent was to remind people that evil still exists. David?
Lindsay Davis, thank you. We are also following a major headline in the war against ISIS tonight. Is this the final push against ISIS in Mosul? Iraqi fighters now going door to door, young men being forced to strip down to make sure they are not wearing bombs. ABC's Ian Pannell, who has reported extensively from Iraq, is in Mosul tonight with what our team has just witnessed.
Tonight, a journey into a city devastated by war. We drive towards the front line, where US and Iraqi forces spearhead the fight against ISIS, trying to find those few hundred fighters still hanging on to what was the center of their power.
Where the Yankee Junction is for the mosque.
Our team's told the fighting's some way from where we've stopped. But then this. The last stand of ISIS.
And just look down the road. It's incredible to think that this used to be a neighborhood. You can smell the dust, you can smell the cordite. I'm afraid to say you can also smell bodies.
Mosul's residents are now emerging from the horror of the last 3 years. Everyone's checked. The young men told to strip. ISIS have hid in crowds before, attacking with bombs. This is the first real food they've had in months. Many are malnourished, like Anas Ibrahim. Hard to believe he's 14.
What this means is that after 3 long years, the caliphate is finally crumbling. But recruits from Mosul to Manchester, England still exist and present a very real threat to people way beyond this region. David.
Hard to believe that little boy is 14 years old. Ian Pannell joining our team of foreign correspondents. Ian, great to have you on our team. In the meantime, back here at home tonight and to the new eruption of gun violence in Chicago, the numbers are staggering. More than 100 people were shot over the long holiday weekend, at least 14 killed. Many of the shootings taking place in parts of the city where police have increased their presence. The federal government recently assigning 20 additional ATF agents to the city. In the West at this hour, there is a manhunt underway for an arson suspect who opened fire on authorities, accused of setting fires, and it comes as more than 3 dozen wildfires now burn out of control. Here's ABC's Clayton Sandell from the region.
Tonight, a remote stretch of Arizona is the center of a manhunt for this suspect, wanted for allegedly pulling a pistol and shotgun on a Forest Service employee and opening fire. It happened yesterday at this campground near Forest Lakes. The Forest Service employee escaped. Now, dozens of officers, including an FBI SWAT team, have joined the search. Police say the suspect appears to be the same man wanted for starting 8 small brush fires in the area on Monday.
Oh my God, I can't breathe.
That suspected arsonist striking at a bad time, with nearly 40 large fires burning in the west. This blaze breaking out this afternoon near Breckenridge, Colorado, and several more growing near Sparks, Nevada. This fire burned in Camarillo, California. Feeding off hot, dry, and windy summer weather.
And it may get worse before it gets better. Thunderstorms this week could bring lightning, sparking new fires. And 100-degree-plus heat across the Southwest will not make the firefight any easier. David.
That is for sure. Clayton Sandell with us. Clayton, thanks. There is an emotional debate tonight making global headlines. The fate of a terminally ill infant on life support known as Baby Charlie. His parents desperately want to move him to a new hospital. The current hospital is resisting. And now President Trump and the Vatican are getting involved. ABC's James Longman from London tonight.
A family facing the greatest loss imaginable, tonight caught in an international tug of war over their dying child. Charlie Gard has a genetic disease. He's unable to see, hear, or even breathe on his own. British doctors say there is no cure. They want to switch off the machine that keeps him alive. Days ago, his parents pleading to bring him home to die.
And we've promised our little boy every single day that we will take him home. Because that is a promise we thought we could keep.
But then, new hope. The Pope lending the family support. A Vatican Children's Hospital offering Charlie treatment. Tonight, the British government has blocked that move, agreeing with doctors who insist it would be cruel to keep him alive.
It's an unimaginable position for anybody to be in.
Charlie's parents have raised nearly $1.7 million to pay for experimental treatment in the US. This week, President Trump tweeting, "If we can help little Charlie, we'd be delighted to do so." Tonight, Charlie's mother saying the support from the president and the Pope has given us hope. but his future remains uncertain. David?
James Longman with us tonight. James, thank you. There is still much more ahead on World News Tonight this Wednesday. The young man under arrest here in the U.S., the visiting Chinese student who disappeared from a university campus, the surveillance last seeing her. That suspect now in court. What authorities say he allegedly searched for online after he was spotted at the young woman's vigil. Then the neighbor dispute that turned violent. One man on a lawnmower pulling out his gun, his neighbor opening fire in return, and what the judge ruled now about that shooting. We're also watching the tropical disturbance tonight. We're tracking it east over the Atlantic, where the storm could be heading. A lot more news ahead.
Needles. Essential for him, but maybe not for people with rheumatoid arthritis, because there are options, like an unjection. Xeljanz XR, a once-daily pill for adults with moderate to severe RA for